Most people have no idea what to look for when they find a development site. They see a big block on realestate.com, get excited and start spending money before they even know if it can work. Today I'm going to show you exactly what goes through my head for the first time I look at a site. No spreadsheets, no feasibilities yet, just the raw first pass thinking that tells me whether a site is worth 5 more minutes of my time or not. I asked Gavin from our team to pick 3 random sites across 3 different councils. I haven't seen them yet. Different zonings, different areas. I'm coming in completely blind, and I'm going to talk you through each one live, off the cuff, exactly how I'd assess them if they've landed in my inbox today. But here's what most people don't realize. The thing that kills most projects isn't the numbers. It's something you can spot in the first 2 minutes if you know what to look for. I'll show you exactly what that is. Let's get into it. All right, team, let's get into it. Now, Gav has given me 3. I'm going to move through them one by one. Hopefully he hasn't stitched me up here, but like I said, we're going to dive in and see exactly what I see first and how I go through it. All right, here we go. We've got 17 Phillip Avenue in Doncaster here in just out of Melbourne. Bang, punch it into Land Checker, trusty Land Checker. We zoom out straight away. All right, where are we? Eastern Freeway, accessibility into the city. Happy days. What's the orientation doing? Bang. Orientation's north. Land Checker is always north. It calibrates to north each time. You can move it around, but she always faces north. Now, Manningham Road, High Street, pretty close. So straight away, I'm saying that's close to the property. Let's see how far it is. From our back fence, we're 50 metres. I don't love that. Okay, so this one's struggling from the outset. We're here in Manningham Council. We've got a frontage of 20 metres. Depth is fine. So we're around 9, just shy of 900 square metres of land. So for me, I'm struggling with this one because I'm not sure if it's a big dual occupancy or I'm not sure if it's 3 or a 4 townhouse site, especially with the new res code changes. 3 to 4 sites are becoming more and more attractive due to front setbacks, side setbacks, site coverage, bulk, no neighbourhood character, all these sorts of things. We're in general residential zone 1 and no overlay, so we're clean as. Like, that's the perfect sense from a sense of zone and overlay perspective. But it's not really a dual occupancy site. It's probably too big. You're going to pay too much for it, for the land, and they're going to be too big. I'd rather, if we're just doing a dual occupancy, closer to probably 700, 750 if you like, but 900 is getting too big. So it's an in-between, which I don't like either. So we've got the road, we've got the in-between, we've got a T intersection as well. The T intersection runs straight into our property. That isn't always a good thing, especially with feng shui and different cultures and those sorts of things. So that's not a tick. And then being out in Doncaster, the last tick box that we need to do is the topography, is the slope of the block, because it's always slopey out there. And based on that, it's sloping upwards towards the back, which I don't like. I prefer it going the other way, so we can mold that into our design, create a split level, stepping down into our living zone, and having a higher ceiling height out there. If it's sloping back, this is sloping up, and I reckon it's probably about 2 metres over our footprint. For me, that's too big, because we've got retaining walls, we've got extra concrete. It'll feature too heavily in the design, I think. It'll have too many steps in it. And like I said, it's probably sloping the wrong way for me in the way I like to design. So breaking it down, and this is what I mean, in 2 minutes, we've got to this site, because there's so many sites out there, guys. So this is what we need to think about firstly, and we need to think fast. So for me, it's too close to Manningham Road. Like that's 3 lanes, 6 lanes, 50 metres from my backyard. You're going to hear that. You're going to feel that. So too close for me on that front, and the slope. So for me, that one's a no, and that's how quickly we can do it. But as you can see, checking the zoning, checking the council, checking the overlays, when was it purchased last, land size, frontage, all those things. And another check, but I've already crossed it off the list, even if it does work. But it looks pretty good from getting our 2 crossovers in if you were doing a dual occupancy. If you are doing 3 to 4, obviously you still want the other crossover there for the front townhouse, but you can still make it work if you only have the one access. But access looks to be okay, but it didn't even get to that point. Now, if you're out there scrolling through listings right now, trying to figure out what's worth a closer look, join the Little Fish Network. It's our free community where people share sites that they're looking at, ask questions, learn from each other and other people's projects. It takes 2 minutes. Links in the description. All right, guys, let's look at the next one. Gav, what do you got for me next? 12 Turkeith Avenue, Herne Hill. All right, let's get into it. We're here, trusty land checker again. We zoom out. We're just on the outskirts of Geelong. We're Melbourne side of Geelong. Got some nice school zones out here. It's reasonably flat. I've already got the topography on. It was already preset. And we're flat over here, which we know this, and that's why we don't mind it. Now, orientation again. Gab's found me a couple with north-facing orientation, which we like. We're 18 metres of frontage, 32 metres of depth, which we're happy with. 600 square metres, not bad. Probably would prefer the depth a little bit further, but based on the new res code and small front setbacks, we're reasonably happy. Based on the size, I would say this is just a dual occupancy site, which is fine, because like I was saying earlier, you need the site to do what you need it to do. You can't find a site that's too big and go, I'm going to do a dual occupancy, or a site that's too small when you want to do 3 or 4. So it needs to fit what you want it to do. Don't try and wrestle it to do something it's not really geared to do. All right, so we're a dual occupancy site, and I'd say based on 600 square metres and the length, we're definitely a double story. So we do some single story dual occupancies and some double story dual occupancies. This would be a double story because it just hasn't got the length and the footprint to be a single story. Now let's go in the high res. Frontage, really good, really wide. So they would be quite wide designs. Setback, you'd be able to come forward. You know, like slope's good. You're off any main drags. You got school there. Got shopping village there. So for me, if I had a client looking for a dual occupancy, obviously a bit cheaper down there in that Geelong area, this would be a site worth looking at. Shadowing, you need to be a little bit cautious there with habitable windows on that side. That side would be reasonably okay, but we're close as well. But the fact is we've got the 18 metres of frontage. So it means that you have got a lot of room to move, and to set in your upper story isn't that big of a deal. And we've got the north-facing backyard, and we've got nothing out the front to stop our driveway. So for this one, compared to Phillip Street or Avenue, it's ticking no slope, great orientation again, away from main roads, and I'm getting my crossovers in to this one. So it's probably a tick, tick, tick. If my client is looking for something down in these areas, well, then it needs further investigation. So, you know, we know we're down in Geelong Council, down in Greater Geelong. So that's fine. Then we look at zones. Neighbourhood residential zone, that's fine. And we've got a design and development overlay schedule. So when it's got overlays like this, yes, you do need to read into them to ensure siding, height, and visual bulk of dwellings achieve reasonable sharing of views between properties to significant landscape features such as the coast and those sorts of things. So that's an overlay that protects views when views exist. This location won't be getting any views, so we won't be blocking any of those. And whilst we're at it, let's have a look what else is going on. There's a dual occupancy over the road, side by side, happy days. There's a corner development site there. So as we know, areas like this are gentrifying, so the developments aren't everywhere, but it is nice to see a couple of them popping up. So it's a tick with the fundamentals on this site, and then we look a bit further, we might start looking into resales, purchase prices, and start seeing how that works. All right, Gav, final one, third and final one. Where have you taken me? 22 Collins Street in Preston. So you've definitely taken me right around the place, around to the east. back down to the Ballerine Peninsula in Geelong, and now we're in the north in Preston. All right, here we go. Let's go. Zoom out. Collins Street. So we're not far. We're just not far from St George's Road there, straight into the city. We're surrounded by Northcote, Coburg, and Preston. Definitely an up-and-coming area. It's away from busy roads. We like that. And he's found another north facer. You can see Gav's on target. Slope on the property looks to be 1 metre from front to back, so that doesn't scare me. We can deal with that. Pick up a little bit in the front setback, a little bit in the back setback. That's not as scary. We've got 1,000 square metres here, and we're in the housing choice and transport zone. So what we do know... Oh, okay, here we go. Heritage overlay. So that's why we're just doing this live, guys, because that is a good planning zone. That's high activity for sure. But into the overlays, and we're in a heritage overlay. Sort of very small pocket there. So for me, that's not good. That's not good at all. Now, what is everyone else doing in this pocket, if anything? There is units in this area. Some older units down here. And some reasonably, oh no, they're old as well. So there is some older units in here. So maybe it's a reasonably recent overlay that's been plonked on this little street. Again, not completely sure. So for this site to go further, it would need to go to my planner. I would need to dig in deeper and say, hey, mate, what does this overlay mean? And what does it mean for us as a developer? So we push on, because if it is a good site, then we need to push through, find if it's a good site, then send it to the planner. Now, 1,000 square metres, reasonably flat, great area. And as far as doing 4 to 5 townhouses on it, based on the new res code, we could get to 6 3-bedders with 1 car park each. So... And it's got a great orientation as well. Nice area of Melbourne. Got a good planning zone. It's the overlay I'm a bit scared of. So, as we can see, council information. We're in Darebin. As far as getting our crossovers in, we've got a power pole there, which is right on the boundary, and we've got a tree sort of in the middle there, and we've got 20 metres of frontage. So whether we can get a crossover between the tree and the power pole, that would need further investigation. And obviously we've got the existing one there anyway. So if we are looking, which we would be looking, at a 4 to 5 to 6 townhouse site, one access is doable. So this one's probably landing right in the middle, because it is a great north-facing, reasonably flat site. I'm not that scared about shadowing. We've got our driveway along this side. We've got great separation from that neighbour there. Darebin's fine as a council. Planning zone is good and is encouraging activity and density for sure, but that heritage overlay does scare me a bit. So it's got enough to persist with and go further. Once I've probably gone through exactly what I've gone through, I would go and look at what they're looking to sell it for. I would then go and check resale prices and do a quick buy, build, what they're worth at the end, to sell or to hold, whatever your strategy is. And if things are ticking along there, I would flick it off to the town planner to say, hey, is this something I need to be cautious of? And he will come back to me either saying, yep, it's going to be an issue, or it's not, play on. Just a quick one on that. If he tells me it's going to be an issue, I cut it straight away. Needs to be cut straight away, because diving into a site like this, when he's told you that there's going to be an issue, we need to cut it and we need to move on. So I guess that's probably the lesson in all that. Fundamentally, it's a good site. It's probably gone to the stage 2, the layer out, but if he tells you it's not going to work, don't argue with him. Don't say, what if this, what if that? Now, if you already own the site, it's a different conversation, because you've already got the site. You're lumped with it. Work with him. Try and figure out best outcome to push through it and get the outcome you're chasing. But if you're in your buyer's agent stage, you're trying to buy the site, move on, because these overlays will come up and bite you. When you think you're through, when you think you're out of it, they just become hard. So let's stay away from them. and push on with the clean sites. And if you want to take this further, here's where to start. The Little Fish Network is free. Jump in, start asking questions, and see how other people are thinking through their own site. The link's below. And if you want someone in your corner walking you through your own project, step by step, we do one-on-one mentoring. You get me helping you avoid these expensive mistakes and make better decisions from day one. If finding the right site is the bit you're stuck on, we can help with that too. We help people secure sites that actually work financially, not just ones that look good on a listing. And if you'd rather hand the whole thing over and have someone run it from start to finish, our team manages the entire process so you don't have to deal with the day-to-day. There's the link below to book a call with me, and we'll figure out the best path forward for you. And if you're still here, appreciate you sticking around right to the end. Do me a favor, give the video a hype and a like, and drop a comment. It really does make a difference and helps us keep creating this stuff for free. I'm Peter Kelly. Till the next one, see you at the top.